Hello, my name is Aprille Walker and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio. Our practice today is Yin Yoga for compassion, self-love, and self-care. If you have never practiced Yin Yoga before, just a little background on it. In Yin Yoga we use ground-bound poses, mostly, in which we hold these poses for anywhere from 1 to 8 minutes. We will be holding these about 2 to 3 minutes each pose, especially for those of you who are new out there. And these poses are meant to work more with the connective tissue, the joints, the ligaments of the body, and less with the muscles. So in these poses, we tend to kind of disengage the muscles and allow yourself to just kind of hang out in a pose with very minimal support. Just sort of really deeply stretch that connective tissue, mobilize it, help it be healthy. And so that is what our goal here is today. Our focus is on the heart. So we'll be working with the heart meridian. The heart meridian runs through the pinky, up through the inside of the arm, into the upper inner chest, into the neck, and down into the chest where the heart is. So we'll be working to activate that meridian. And that meridian is most closely associated with compassion, self-love, self-care, and love in general. This practice is all about that. You don't need any props for this practice, but if you would like to put a blanket down on the floor, or if you're on carpet, you're perfectly comfortable already. This is just for your comfort and support. So we're going to start in child's pose, bringing the big toes together, knees nice and wide, wherever you want them to be. And just take your hands out in front of you, stack those palms on top of one another, and rest your forehead on the back of your hands. And settle into your breath. Feel your breath massaging the body, bringing some comfort and softness to it. In Yin, we don't look for the deepest pose possible. We look for a pose that is sustainable for 1 to 8 minutes. So if you need to come back up and come up on your elbows, that's fine as well. Or if you need to lean forward a little bit further, so that your knees are not completely folded, you can take a puppy pose version. So the first tenet of Yin Yoga is to find your appropriate edge. And that will differ for every single person, every single day, different bodies. And the second tenet is to become still. To soften and hold the pose, letting go of the wiggles. Of course, if you need to adjust the pose because it is very uncomfortable or painful, or you'd like to change the depth of the pose, then that is always okay. Just settle in. And our third tenet is to hold for time. Some poses may seem like it is forever, but know that every pose comes to an end. Breathe into the back side of the heart, the front side of the heart, opening those spaces, filling some space. Compassion and love always starts with yourself. So this is where we begin our practice. Love for ourselves, compassion for ourselves. And our Yin practice is also about no judgment. So there is no wrong or right pose. There is no wrong or right shape here. This is a judgment-free area. Any feelings come up for you in the poses,
take a few breaths just to breathe into those feelings. Sometimes emotions come up. Sometimes you'll think to yourself, I really desperately want out of this pose. And oftentimes it has more to do with emotions coming up than it has to do with the actual pose itself. So just take some breaths. Allow your breath to soften, your exhale to extend. Just about 3 more deep breaths here. Gently lifting the head, pressing back up, coming on to hands and knees, and maybe taking cat-cow a few times. So dropping the belly down, lifting the head, and taking the belly up toward the ceiling, tucking the chin to the chest. Between every yin pose, we do a pose called a rebound pose. Some people find they want to be very still, and some people like a little bit of movement. Coming back to center, come all the way down onto your back for our next pose. So our next pose is called banana pose. So you're going to take your arms out to the side here to start with. Walk the legs out straight. And you're going to walk the heels over to the left. And take that left ankle and cross it over the right. If that doesn't feel good, you can always keep them side by side. And then move the upper body just a little bit over to the left as well. If that doesn't feel good, keep in alignment. Just keep the back in line. Then we're going to take the arms up overhead. So if you can and you feel supported, you can grab hold of the wrist or fingers or whatever it is. You can take that left hand and grab the right. You can turn your head and look over toward the right or look straight up. So here, once again, feel free to adjust this pose to fit you today. If that means less banana shape, then take less banana shape. I always tell people you can always look more like a plantain than a banana. If you feel any tingling or discomfort in your fingertips, go ahead and take your arms down by your side or out to the side in a cactus position or straight out like a T. That tingling is potentially nerve injury. Your nerves telling you they don't like a certain position. Focusing on your breath here, breathing into that right side body, feeling the stretch all the way from your right heel up through your right fingertips. Expanding the right lungs outward to the side, really breathing into that space. So some people have described yin as a practice of making space, getting rid of the things you no longer need, that no longer support you, and making room for the things in your life coming up that will support you, that will help you manifest your dreams. Just one more minute here, breathing into that space. Breathe into the rainbow shape of your right side. Taking these breaths and this time in these postures, just sort of check in with yourself, check in with your breath, check in with your body, and also check in with how you're feeling. Being kind to yourself every way you can. Remember, there is no positive or negative here in this practice. There's just noticing, exploring, breathing into. Gently turn your head back to center. Release your hands. Take them down by your hips. You're going to unwind your ankles if they're wound up here. Take your heels wide and just take 5 deep breaths here. The rebound effect in between the poses often you feel a lot more. You'll feel perhaps a shift in your energy. After banana pose, I often feel taller on one side. I'll feel my breath deeper on the side that was stretched and opened. Keep in mind that connective tissue winds throughout everything in your body. It is part of your organs, your muscles, wraps around your bones, intertwines through things, and basically sort of shrink wraps you together. So it is everywhere. And keeping it healthy is keeping you healthy. Gently walking the feet over to the right this time. Noting that both sides are never the same. We are not butterflies. Take that right ankle, cross it over if that feels good for you. Move your upper body over if that's appropriate. And then take those arms back overhead if you would like. And you can grasp hold of that left wrist with that right hand. Turn your head either straight up or to the side. Close your eyes. Relax your muscles. And sometimes that requires actually intentionally focusing on an area and releasing the tension in the muscles in order to access that connective tissue, the joints, the ligaments, the bones. We refer to this as a yin practice because the tissue we are working with is considered yin. It is colder, slower to move, more stiff, more stable. In comparison, muscles and blood are very warm, quick to warm up, active. Checking back and sensing the stretch from the heel of your left foot all the way up through your left fingertips. Breathing into the left side of the lungs, expanding the left side of the heart. Everybody breathes more in one lung versus the other. So banana pose is a great opportunity to ensure that you are breathing a more balanced breath and helping clear out the lung that may not be as active as the other. Filling it with new oxygen. Last minute here. Here again, checking in with your body, with your emotions, whatever this pose may bring up for you. Maybe even if you just feel silly, hanging out shaped like a banana. Here again, turning your head back to center, releasing your arms down by your hips, moving yourself back into alignment, taking the heels wide, and just taking 5 deep breaths here to settle and to notice how this side feels in comparison to the other. Noting how your entire body feels now that we've done both sides. From here, go ahead and bend your knees, roll over to your right side and come on to your belly. I'm going to take Sphinx Pose. So if you've practiced yoga before, then you know this pose from a yang practice, but we're taking a more yin version of it. We're going to take the palms face down, tuck those elbows underneath the shoulders, take the feet a little bit wider, and then allow the chest to come through, allow the shoulders to drop. Now, if you are okay with this in your shoulders, you can go ahead and let your chest drop in between the shoulders. Think about releasing the tension in your hips and lower back. And I know this can be hard for a lot of people because you want to hold a little tension in your glutes half the time. So just allow your lower back and hips to soften, shoulders to relax down toward your heels. You can either stay here or you can take seal pose. Now, seal pose is turning your thumbs forward, your hands out, just like a seal, and lifting up. So you can take your hands further away from you or not. Here again, relax the lower back and the hips. We're just going to be here for 3 more deep breaths. And bending the elbows, come all the way down. Stack your hands on top of one another. Rest your forehead on the backs of your hands. And then taking your arms out to the side in a cactus position, palms flat, elbows in line with the shoulders. You're going to turn your head to look over the right shoulder. So walk that right hand in, keeping that left hand where it's at, and start to lean over to the left. This is going to kind of open the shoulder up. If you would like to go further, you can take that right leg back behind you, or you can stay where you're at. And then come back to center, switching sides, taking that right forearm down, turning your head to the left. Here again, walking that left hand in and twisting over to the side. Here, once again, you can take way further back, or you can stay sort of knees stacked. We're only going to be here for about 5 breaths. This is called open wing. If you're someone who doesn't like this pose, then it's broken wing. Slowly come back to center. Press your hands underneath your shoulders, come all the way up. So our next pose is going to be what I call quarter dog. So you're going to shift your hips back a little bit further so that they're over the knees, but maybe a little bit behind. Dropping your belly down toward the floor, walk your hands out. You're going to take that right hand across, rest your forehead on that right forearm, and walk your left hand a little bit out to the left. So you're sort of more like a V shape or a Y shape. Let your belly soften toward the floor. Just one more minute here. Feeling the heart open on the front and back. Breathing in, making space. So yin is a beautiful practice for self-care. It allows you time to ground and settle, to safely explore your feelings, emotionally and physically. And space to practice non-judgment, because some poses, simply because you're not using muscle engagement, do not look the same as you expect them to. Your forward fold may not be a very big forward fold, and that's okay. As long as you feel sensation in your pose, that is all that matters. Know that it is working whether you are folded all the way flat or not. Gently lift your forehead, start to walk that left hand back in. Here again, maybe take some cat-cow, so arch and round. Coming back to center here again, shifting your hips back a little bit. Going to walk your hands forward, drop the belly down toward the floor. Opposite hand, so take that left hand across, walk your right hand out to the right in a V. Rest your forehead either on the floor or on that forearm, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Each one of these breaths, now that you've spent more time releasing what no longer serves you, begin to focus on your inhale and breathing in what does support you. Breathing in kindness and caring, filling up your cup. Many of us believe that we should be giving all of our compassion
and love to everyone else, and certainly that is something to consider. But when your cup is empty, there is no place to pour from. So settle into yourself, care for yourself, and send your body and your mind some compassion and kindness. This is the body that we are given in this moment in time, and we work with where we're at. This body, this mind, these emotions, this is what we have right now in time. There is nothing wrong or right about them. It simply is. Recognizing that caring for our bodies and our minds and our emotions, caring for ourselves, is a gift to others. We are better people, better humans, when we take care of ourselves. Just about one more minute here. Start to lift your head, walk that hand back in. Here again, taking our cat arch. I conveniently have a cat. And cow tilt. Coming on to our back. Let's take a little twist here. So take the arms out to the side, palms facing up. You're going to cross that right leg over the left. Now, if this is not a possibility for you and this doesn't feel good, you can always just stack your knees for your twist. But you're going to press your foot, shift your hips over to the right, and drop your knees over to the left. Once again, you could be stacked or you could be wrapped. If it feels good for your neck, lift your head and turn and look over your right shoulder. Feel that tension unwind in the outside of the right hip. Feel the heart opening space across the right shoulder and right arm. Maybe smile here. Checking in whatever feelings you may have coming up, physically or emotionally. As we do throughout our practice, each pose may bring up new things. Knowing that you are in a safe space, you can explore those things. You can allow them to soften. Sometimes you can let them go. And sometimes you can pull them closer if they support what you need. Just one more minute here. Remembering to breathe into the muscles, allowing them to relax. And sometimes it may take a few minutes to relax all the muscles. You may begin to feel that connective tissue mobility or mobilization toward the end of your pose, and that is okay as well. Gently on your next inhale, lift your head, turn your head back to center. Engage your core and bring those knees back through the center. Unwind. Take your feet wide, drop the knees together. Just take some breaths to notice how this feels. Feel the unfurling of your spine. Maybe turn your head to the left and right a time or two as a reset. Then we're going to switch sides. So crossing that left leg or just stacking the knees, you're going to shift your hips over to the left, drop your knees over to the right. I have to work around my little friend here. Arms out to the side. If it feels okay on this side, go ahead and turn your head, lift it and turn and look over your left shoulder this time. Close your eyes and settle into your breath. I find often that the second side is much easier than the first, simply because it's prepared for this pose. Notice the difference between this side and the side before. Here again, no wrong or right. Two sides are never quite the same, and at different times of day they will react differently. So you may find that the left side is more open in the morning and the right side is more open at night. It changes from day to day, moment to moment. It also depends a lot on what you're doing throughout your day. So here again, being compassionate and kind to your body, recognizing the differences and uniqueness of who you are. No one else is quite like you. No one ever will be. You are unique and special. Breathing into the muscles. You may feel your body just naturally gravitationally adjust as the muscles release and the tension in the connective tissue softens. Just one more minute here. Gently lifting your head, turning back to center, engaging your core, lifting the knees back through center, unwinding, walking the feet wide, dropping the knees together. And here, taking one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And then if you'd like to remain here for your Shavasana, you can tuck your shoulder blades underneath, or you can walk your feet out wide. Settling into your breath. And then just starting at the crown of your head, become aware of the crown of your head, the center space between your brows, the center of your throat, allowing each one of these spaces to relax and soften as your awareness touches them. Just following my voice, moving your awareness to the center of your collarbone, center of the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Back to the center of your right wrist, right elbow, center of the right shoulder, center of the collarbones. Bring your awareness gently over to the center of the left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, tip of the left thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Back to the center of the left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, center of the collarbones. Bring your awareness softly to the center of the chest, the heart space. Over to the left side of the heart, back to center, right side of the heart, back to center. Moving your awareness down to the space right above your navel, the center of your pelvis, the center of your right hip, right knee, right ankle, tip of the first toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky. Back to the center of the right ankle, right knee, center of the right hip, center of the pelvis. Moving your awareness over to the center of the left hip, left knee, center of the left ankle, tip of the first toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky. Back to the center of the left ankle, left knee, center of the left hip, center of the pelvis, center space above the navel, center of the heart, center of the throat, center space in between your brows, and very crown of your head. Feeling this wave of relaxation, sweetness from the crown of your head all the way down through the body, down through the bottoms of your feet and toes and out through your fingers. Sensing the body as a moving field of energy. Feeling that hand that is on your heart, warming that space. Healing that space. And helping you come home to yourself. Feeling settled and grounded and comfortable in the you that you are, uniquely and perfectly you. poem by Rumi reminds us of the specialness within each one of us. There is a life force within your soul. Seek that life. There is a gem in the mountain of your body. Seek that mine. Oh, traveler, if you are in search of that, don't look outside. Look inside yourself and seek that. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Maybe beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Softly bringing awareness to the body from the crown of the head to the bottoms of the feet. And on your next inhale, take your arms up overhead, stretch through your fingertips, lengthen through your toes, and softly roll over to your right side, taking a few breaths here to send yourself some love, some compassion, some kindness, thanking yourself for taking this time to practice self-care. Whenever you are ready, press yourself up into whatever seated position you like best. Taking your palms together, thumbs and pinkies sealed together, heel of your hand together, and fingers spread apart in the Lotus Mudra. This is the mudra for the heart. Gently tilting your gaze, soft-lidded gaze, into that flower, that lotus. And on your exhale, dropping those fingertips down to the ground. Inhale, sweeping them up overhead. Open your eyes, look up at your palms. Exhale, hands to heart. Peace and namaste.